What was that word? I know the word, it's on the tip of my tongue. I have been learning this language for so long, but still I can't remember the words when I actually need them. We work really hard to improve our vocabulary. Sometimes we feel very happy when we learn some new words or phrases, but after a certain amount of time, we forget them very easily. It is the most annoying thing about learning a language. In today's video, we are going to discover some ways that can help you to escape of this problem. So without any further delay, let's dive in. First of all, we will try to understand why do we forget what we learn. Our brain naturally forgets the information that we don't use regularly. Imagine learning a couple of words today. Once learned, if you don't use them, if you don't practice them after that, there is high chance that you will forget them. To overcome it, you need to follow some key strategies. So first key strategy is repetition. Our mind is exceptionally good at forgetting the things to prevent it to remember irrelevant information. It has a system which decides which information to hold on and which to forget. So how does it work? It is quite simple. The more you repeat a certain information, the more it sticks to your memory. To make sure new words and phrases stick to your mind, you need to expose yourself to them repeatedly. Think about a question. Where do you live, for example? If someone asks you this question, where do you live? So your response in that case would be immediate. You don't even need to think about it. It is because this piece of information has been repeated throughout your life so many times that your brain is able to recognize it. The more you are exposed to the information, the more your brain will be able to hold on to that information. Because we are living in a non-English speaking country, so we don't get that exposure naturally. In that case, you can create that exposure by yourself. So whatever content you watch in your TV, smartphone, start watching it in English. If you watch your favorite series in your native language, start watching them by turning on the subtitles. It is a great way to expose yourself to the language. Whenever you come across some new words or phrases that you find useful for yourself, just note them down and keep reviewing them time to time. For example, if you learned some new words today, review them tomorrow, and then in 3 days, and then again in a week, and later in a month. This way you are sending a signal to your brain that this information is important and not to forget it. Coming to my next tip, make speaking a habit. I know it is hard to start speaking a new language, especially if you are afraid of making mistakes. But see, you won't be able to remember the information that you don't use. If you want to hold on to those words, you need to speak them often. You can start small. Start speaking some sentences in English into your everyday conversation. You can find a speaking partner. You need not to be perfect to start doing this. Try to maintain consistency. Practice every single day. The more you speak, the more confident you will feel and less likely you will forget. My next tip is connect the word with your life. Have you ever noticed how some words just stick with you while others fade away? It is because the words that stay are the ones that mean something to you. It is where personal connection come in. When you learn a new word, connect it to something meaningful in your life. Maybe it reminds you a memory, a place, or a person you care about. The more you connect the word with your story, the deeper it will root in your memory. Because it is no longer just a word. It is a part of your life and it is almost impossible to forget. My next tip is learn with joy, not stress. Now this is the most important one. Learning a language doesn't have to be boring and stressful. In fact, the more fun and engaging it is, the more likely you will stick with it. Try to indulge yourself in different activities. Watch your favorite TV shows by turning on the subtitles. Dive into movies or books you love and let the curiosity lead the way. When you enjoy the process, you absorb the language naturally without even realizing it. Moving on to my next tip, swap your old habit. If I ask you a question that how do you spend your free time during the day? Probably you grab your phone and start consuming variety of content on the internet. You know, when I started learning English, the first thing that I did was I stopped wasting my time. If you start using your time more productively, it can turn out as a game changer. Reading is a perfect activity to start doing in your free time. You can find some books that are as per your interest and start reading them. It is a great way to enhance your knowledge on the language and stay up to date. Learning a language is more than just memorizing the words. It is about creating connections, building confidence, and staying patient with yourself. Every step forward is progress. Start using these strategies and I promise you will never have to worry about forgetting what you have learned. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so you never miss any update. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Till then, bye bye.